Yet another Kennedy was murdered. Shocker, shocker, shocker. Yeah, it seems to just keep happening among these Kennedys for some reason. And if you know Hugh's story, you know why. So it's not surprising that this one was murdered, and doesn't say she was murdered. No, it doesn't say that anywhere. There's a picture of her as a kid. Just says she was found dead. But what does found dead mean? I don't know. Okay. Here's a little bit of what seems to me to be misdirection, mental illness, depression, that sort of thing, but no clear indication of how she died. Now, there's a reason for this, because she was murdered, obviously, like the rest of them are all being murdered, of course, because President Kennedy stood up to the pedophiles and stood up to the Teamsters and stood up to criminal organizations in our country, so they took him out. So, all right, so let's get to business here. Look at Hyannisport, where she was said to have been found dead, which equals 138 here in reverse ordinal. Okay. Now, I think this is related to, if you know Hugh's story, to the pedophile networks, right? Pedophile ring is 138 as well, like Hyannisport. And you know that her grandfather, Robert F. Kennedy, fought a lot with Jimmy Hoffa, right? And Jimmy Hoffa doesn't equal 138, but the date of his death, which was 7/30 of 1982. Now, if you add that, it equals 138, okay? And wouldn't you know that that is, by the way, the 211th day of the year, and who was Pope back then? Pope John Paul II. Shoot. And that equals 211 as well. Now back to our 138s, okay? We said Hyannisport, where Saoirse or however you pronounce her name. I haven't heard it. I never heard of her till today. So, I was looking at this article, but so forgive me if I sound stupid pronounce her name, but I never heard of her before. Okay, so we got Hyannisport is 138, the pedophile ring is 138, Jimmy Hoffa, his death numerology is 138, and it was George H.W. Bush, who was the CIA person helping to organize the murder of John F. Kennedy, and he equals 138. And just notice that 66, we're going to get into a 66 here in a minute too, so I'm going to add that to my list while I'm talking, and you'll see why here in a minute. And let's see, we're going to get back to that now. And Robert F. Kennedy, the granddaughter of Saoirse, or however you Swass, or I suppose if it's supposed to be a French sounding name, maybe it's like Swass, I don't even know. Well, anyway, Sirhan, the one who supposedly murdered Robert Kennedy, also equals 138. Interesting. Notice the 66. Well, we said that pedophile ring equals 138, but look also, pedophile ring equals 213. And let's see, 8/1, today's date that she was found dead. Look at that, there's the 213th day of the year, and pedophile ring equals 213. Isn't that interesting? So, Saoirse Kennedy, or however you pronounce her name here, Saoirse Kennedy equals 164 right here, and Jimmy Hoffa, when you know it, gosh darn, also equals 164. I think I'm starting to see a bunch of patterns here. Saoirse died on 8/1/2019, like we said. And added together like this equals 48. Like the key of David equals 48. I don't know if that necessarily relates or not, but I don't know. It seems to show up a lot. Yeah, key of David equals 148. So that seems to be like a calling card sort of these killer types from time to time. That could be just a coincidence there. I'll definitely give you that. So 8119. If somebody wanted to argue, I'd give them that. 8119. That leaves 152 days left in the year. And the word deception equals 152. So you think the articles coming out might equal, the article coming out here from Fox News might be deception? You know, that they're not telling us that she was murdered? Yeah, probably, you know. By the way, 152 is awfully close, really close to 153. Remember how John F. Kennedy was killed 153 days before the election, and how her grandfather Robert Kennedy was taken to the Ambassador Hotel, which equals 153? She died at Hyannisport, Massachusetts, which is 41 degrees north. You know, like Killer is Killer is 41 degree or 41. You know, like the 41 degrees north there. You know, they're Catholic. I noticed that Notre Dame equals 41 as well. That could be a coincidence. You know, they didn't necessarily put all these words together intentionally, but there's enough of them together. You obviously see that a whole lot of them were put together. But this is also interesting. The article says that she was 22 years old. We'll spell out 22, and you'll see that it equals 165, like New Testament. You know, they are Catholic, you know, so they should worship the New Testament, you know, hopefully. It's 165, okay, and also 66 again, another with the 66. Now, she would have graduated in 2020. So she was 22 years old when she died. She would have graduated in 2020. Take out the zeros out of that. That's 22 from Boston, which is 22 as well. Boston College. Isn't it interesting that Sirhan used a 22 gauge revolver to kill Robert F. Kennedy? And by the way, Robert F. Kennedy died on 6/6 of 68. Like Sirhan equals 66. And like we said, I'd get back to it again. George H.W. Bush. It's 66. Now, the 22nd prime number is 79. Okay, and if you don't put Saoirse Kennedy's married name, Hill, if you just leave that off and you just look at the Saoirse Kennedy, how it would have been before she was married, you know, her maiden name, Saoirse Kennedy, okay, it's 79. Well, wouldn't you know that 22, she's died at 22 years old, is the 22nd prime number is 79. And Saoirse Kennedy equals 79. Kind of makes me wonder what happened to her, because, I mean, you know, rapist equals 79. There were talks in the article about how somebody violated her in the past, and that she had talked about that. You know, also, Democrat equals 79. Criminal equals 79. Now add her other her married name on there, Saoirse. Sorry, that's a weird spelling name. So okay, and you see that it's 205, like All-Seeing Eye is 205. And look at this, 88, like Lyndon Baines Johnson is 88. Well, Lyndon Baines Johnson probably had everything to do with killing John F. Kennedy, didn't he? I think we know that. And here we've already mentioned the pedophile ring several times. Well, look, 281 is the 60th prime number, and pedophile ring equals 60. And by the way, if you know Hugh's story, it was the same pedophile ring that captured him when he was a 4-year-old boy, okay, and tortured him in the basement. It was that same ring. Remember, he made confessions to Father O'Donnell, and it was Father O'Donnell who testified that Lee Harvey Oswald was the killer. A bunch of lies, right? It's the same pedophile ring that killed Kennedy. Isn't that amazing how it just all goes together? And look at 101, which is the 26th prime number. Like girl equals 26, like queen, crown, royal, papacy, how they all work together. The Catholic Church and the Queen of England all work together to kill these people. And now look at this, the JFK assassination. Okay, and this is interesting too, because I just can't shake this. 11/22/63 to 8/1/2019. Look, 8 months and 10 days if you don't count the year. If you don't count the 55 years, they're 8 months and 10 days apart. John F. Kennedy's assassination date and this Saoirse Kennedy assassination. 8 months and 10 days in the same year apart. Aren't we looking out for August 10 and 11? Coming up soon. 8 more days. Don't know if anything will happen or not, but we sure see that an awful lot, don't we? Well, I think this all calls back to Sirhan. And that equals 66 and 78. Right here, see, 66 and 78. And Saoirse Kennedy, S-O-S-A. I think I have it memorized by now. Saoirse Kennedy is 65 and 79. So just one apart. By the rule of Colel, one off means the same thing. So obviously this is a callback to all that. Well, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.